Greetings, I'm Bairnt and welcome to the One-Stop Co-op Shop. Today we're going to be doing a playthrough of Transformers, the deck building game from Renegade Games. This game is built as a competitive and a cooperative and a solo game. We're going to play the solo version of it just so you can see how the mechanics of this exact deck builder work, but I will explain how some of the competitive and co-op works as we begin playing through this game. So we're going to do a quick setup, then going to start right into the game and see if we can destroy the Decepticons and find out if Transformers is more than meets the eyes. If you're excited for that, then I need you to meet me at the co-op shop. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make an entire main deck and matrix out of all the cards that are allies, maneuvers, Decepticon schemes, site technology, and robots. The robots are going to be Autobots and they're also going to be Decepticons. In a solo co-op game, you're going to remove the relic cards from the game. You don't need those for this one. Besides, who needs the matrix of leadership? We know who the leader is. That's right, it's me. Once you've created that deck and you've given it a good old truffle shuffle, then you're going to place everything down in a grid, and that is determined by the amount of players that you're playing with. For a 1 to 2 player game, you're going to create a grid of 12 cards. For 3 to 4, 16 cards, and for a 5 player game, you're going to be creating a 20 card board. With the matrix created, I'm going to go ahead and start creating the rest of the main deck. But do be aware, unlike other deck builders I've played where you're using either a market or a river to buy cards, these are the cards you're going to buy. You're kind of still going to be moving around on a board and revealing these cards and potentially buying them, put them into your hand, or you might have to face off against certain Decepticons. Oh, the Decepticons. Let's continue on by creating the rest of the main deck. Depending on your player count, you're going to create a deck of varying amount of cards. Since we're playing solo, we are going to create 3 decks of 7 cards. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are our 3 decks. Of course, if you're playing with more people, you're going to create larger decks. 2, you're going to use 9, 3, 11, 4, 13, and for 5 players, you're going to create 15 card decks. Now that you have those decks created, you're going to put in your bad guys. You're going to put in all these different Decepticons, and you're going to do level 1s, 2s, and 3s. So the first thing we're going to do is take our 2 level 1 guys here, Soundwave and Astrotrain, shuffle them up a little bit, not knowing what they are, and place them in one of the decks. Then we're going to take our level 2s, which is Blitzwing and Starscream. We're going to mix those up a little bit and put one down in this deck. Next, we're going to take Megatron and Devastator. Oh, Devastator is one of my favorite Transformers. I had him when I was younger. He's absolutely awesome. I've always been a big fan of the Constructicons. We'll put them into the 3rd deck. Once that is done, we are going to take our cooperative schemes, and we're going to place 1 in each of those decks. They're right here. We're going to give those a good old truffle shuffle here. We're going to place 1 down in each of these decks. That's going to create our main deck that we're going to be drawing from. We're going to give the whole 3 sets of decks a little truffle shuffle here, and then we're going to put the number 1 on top of the number 2 and the number 2 on top of the number 3. Once that's done, you're going to take the other cards you didn't use, return them to the box just like that. We're going to grab some other cards that are going to be out there. They're basic cards. One of them is damage cards. Damage cards are bad. In a solo and co-op game, if any Autobot gets to 5 damage, they are out. In a competitive game, damage is just going to be something that's going to prevent you from keeping the victory points all to yourself. If you have damage, other people can come and assist and try to take out the enemies with you and gain victory points from them. So you don't want damage no matter what way you're playing. The other one is this basic card as well. It's called Transform and Roll Out. I'm just going to show you the anatomy of card because this has a lot of things that that we should know about. One of them is right here. This is power. That's what you're going to do to defeat enemies and to also gain cards from the matrix right here. We have this. This is the range value. So not only if it has no range value, it's a 0. If you decided you wanted to work on something over here, you have to have the range to get there. And down here is movement. Everybody's going to be moving around this board based on the amount of movement they have. You're going to not only use movement to move, but also to search the cards that are under there in the matrix. Down here usually are some abilities, and whenever you play a card, you're going to save up these, but you're going to automatically do what's on the card when you play the card. This one says you may transform. So if I play this card, decide not to transform and play some other cards and want to transform later, it's too late. I've already played this card and I chose not to transform. And down here it says assist +1 power. Now, since we're playing solo, we're not going to be assisting, but if you do go to actually attack something and you needed help with it, a person could allow help to offer to assist with you, and they can lay a card down and say, I'm assisting with 1 power. Is it 1 power? If you're playing competitively, maybe it's not, maybe it is, but of course, it would be in their best interest to try to help defeat the bad guys so they also gain the victory points. So more often than not, it is what it says. So if I had another Autobot out here, I could say, I'm going to assist you for 1. At range 1, and say I'm over here, and then we're trying to take on this card here. Then when they put down how much power they have, say they have 5 and they needed 6, they could ask for my assistance, and I can go, there you go, you got my 1 from 1 range, that's 6, we were able to take him out. If you're playing with multiple players, the person who is fighting or needing, or is actually doing their turn, is able to ask who they want from first. So if I was playing this one and I had another partner up here playing this one, they could find out maybe I have more victory points, so they could choose to have this person assist first. And if that total adds up to the 6 we needed to defeat this enemy, I wouldn't be needing to use this card. This person would be able to help assist. Of course, that's where the damage comes in. Of course, unless I have damage. If I have damage and there's still cards to play and I haven't been able to appease the amount of damage that I have, then this person still gets to come in and help. I hope that all made sense. And of course, once it's defeated, everybody gets to share in the victory points. And during cooperative play, sharing in victory points means you're going to gain Energon. And Energon is awesome. Everybody wants Energon. Heck, that's why the Decepticons are coming to our planet, right? They're trying to take on our Energon. They're so mean. And so that's really about it. We're going to get these other cards ready to go. These are encounter cards. These are going to be used when an enemy ambushes us or a boss encounters us. And we'll see how that works during this playthrough. That's really about all there is for setup for the board. Let's move to our character. We're going to be playing as Wheeljack. He is an Autobot. He has 2 different sides, an alt side and, of course, his transformed robot side. His alt side is going to be giving us 2 move, but do know that whenever battling an adversary, I'm at -1 power when I'm driving around. It's kind of hard to fight when you're driving around. And it says here, after you resolve an ambush, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a technology card, draw it. Otherwise, leave it or discard it. We'll see how that works during the playthrough. The bot side of this gives different abilities here. Each technology you play has +1 power. We'll see how those are one of the different kind of main cards that potentially could be in the Matrix and this main deck. So we want to try to find some of those for him. These down here are Energon costs. You can play these by paying Energon. I could pay 1 for your technology cards to have 2 range this turn, or I could pay 2 to gain 1 technology card from the destroyed pile. And we'll see how that goes. When you play, you do start on the alt side, and you're going to gain a basic set of hands, just like most other deck builders. That deck is going to be consisting of 6 courage cards. They're all the same. They have 1 power, and they have an ability down here for 1 Energon. During a confront, which is when you're attacking a boss character, you're going to be able to play the top card from your deck if you wish to. Then we have a fix card that allows us to gain 1 movement. It's a starter card that allows me to return 1 damage controlled by any player in your space or adjacent to this stack. So these damage cards over here can be returned if I had them. For 1 down here, I can destroy a starter card you control if I want to, which isn't too bad. Now, an interesting thing is if I had this card out here, I could destroy it. And if you destroy it, you can remove it from the game. And if at any point you're actually able to destroy all these damage cards, it would be pretty tough. But then you would no longer get damage, which is kind of an interesting mechanic of the game that you eventually become, I guess you could almost be immortal at that point. But of course, damage, it only in a solo co-op would it really matter. In the competitive version, whether you have a ton of damage or no damage or 1 damage, it really depends on how many people can assist you when you're actually fighting some of the bad guys. We're also going to gain this firepower, which is kind of your more powerful attack. It's got 2 energy, and it also has up to 1 range. We have a reserves, whereas it gives me +1 move, and down here, if you control 3 or fewer Energon, you gain 1 Energon. Then we also have patrol. I can use I gain 1 move, and this one's kind of cool because you can flip a card in an adjacent square face up. So in case sometimes these are going to be bad guys out here, and if you flip over one, you're standing on it, you have to be ambushed. Of course, if you move on to an exposed enemy, you're still going to be ambushed, but at least you can kind of prepare for it. So those are going to be your starter cards. We're going to give these a good old truffle shuffle so that they're all set to go, and then we're going to get our standee and get ready to go. They also tell you you're supposed to take these tokens and place place them next to your character at the -1 movement, just to help you, remind you that if you are doing things, you can use these tokens to help you. And if you do use 1 movement, you can put it down here. The reason you want to do that is because there could be a lot of different things that happen just from using 1 movement. I could reveal this card, which could potentially trigger an enemy, which then we have to fight. We'd be using all our cards to try to do that, and we might forget that we used only 1 move or 2 moves. We can't remember. So this will help us remind us that we've used one of the moves. If you ever do transform, you wouldn't be able to move anymore because the transformer side doesn't have any movement points down here. So just be aware of that. It's easier to move around in your alt form because, well, you're a car and you're driving around. Why wouldn't you? We're then going to grab the amount of energon that we start with. So we'll take our 2 energon cubes and place them down. I guess we'll put them right there. Do note that there's a bigger cube as well. That is considered to be 5 energon if we ever get that high. But for now, we're going to use these small ones. We're going to have 2 of them. We're then going to take our standee of Wheeljack here. He is all set to go. But oh, wait a minute. This is meet me at the table. We're not using standees. We got miniatures. That's right. We've got Wheeljack, and he's going to play the game. So I've taken my son's Wheeljack, and we are going to use him in this game. Just to show you some of the other people you could play as Bumblebee, Ironhide, Ratchet, RC, and Optimus Prime. And this must have been, this game must take place between the first Gen 1 cartoons, I believe, and before they actually did the Transformers the movie, because most of these people are super dead. After the movie, if you ever saw the cartoon movie, most of these guys are dead. So this must be before the movie. Otherwise, including Wheeljack, he was super dead in the movie. So we're going to continue on by, I guess we're really about ready to start the game. There's nothing left to set up, so let's jump in. The turn sequence is very similar to a normal deck builder type game. You're going to play a lot of your cards, but in this one we are moving around, so it's kind of interesting. On your turn, you may do any of the following in any order. I can play cards, move, search, buy or battle, activate energon abilities, transform, and confront once per turn. Confronting is when we take on the boss. When we get to the end of turn, we'll talk about that. For the first turn, you're able to take your character and he just appears anywhere on the board you want. And the first player gets to go first. I'll put Wheeljack right down here. And at this point, we'll start playing our cards. So we'll draw up 5 cards to begin. I've got my cards right here. I'm going to give them one good old more truffle shuffle here. And we're going to take 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and see what we got. We've got firepower. We've got courage, 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 and more firepower. We got all firepower and courage. So lucky for us, we're in our wheel form, our movement form, so we can actually move and search because we do have 2 speed as the alt form of Wheeljack. So we are going to put our token down on our Wheeljack card to signify that we are going to use 1 move, and I am going to use that move by searching this card right here. And we have found Optimus Prime. Oh my gosh, what a great way to start. He's super dead. He's a robot Autobot. You may put 1 Autobot from your discard pile on top of your deck. Now, like a normal deck builder, when you get cards from the Matrix, they're going to go right into your discard pile. Now, it does take 5 power to get him, but when you play him, he's going to give you 3 power, 1 movement, and he can do it up to a range of 2, the power here. So that's pretty awesome. He's a fantastic guy to find. We do have, I think, 5 power. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to play these 5 cards to gain that 5 power. We're going to get Optimus Prime and put him there. That's amazing. I do have 1 courage left that can give me 1 power, but it's not going to help us. And just like in any other deck builder, once you're done playing your cards, you're just going to discard any that you don't normally play. I still have 1 more movement left with Wheeljack because he starts with 2 in his alt form. So I'm going to drive him right up there, but that's going to be the end of his turn. He's not going to be able to search there because he's run out of actual movement points to be able to search there. We'll go to our end of turn, and it says that you're announced that your turn is over. At this point, we're going to refill the matrix. If there is no empty space in the matrix to refill, destroy the top card of the main deck unless it's a boss. And if it's a boss, there's a whole set of stuff you do to get him out there. Obviously, you're not going to be destroying bosses. You discard all your cards in hand and any cards you played during your turn except cards with the ongoing keyword. Then draw a new hand of 5 cards. We'll place this card right down here and draw 5 more cards. It's probably everything else in our deck but courage. So we have our fix-it, 1 more courage, patrol, reserves, and courage. So now we have absolutely no energy but a ton of movement. So hopefully we'll reveal a bunch of cards next turn. How are we going to do this? Well, I think we're going to play the reserve card first. It says here, if you control 3 or fewer energon, gain 1 energon. And since we have 2, we are going to now have 3. We'll place this down right here. Now it does still have a movement, so I can use that at some time while I'm playing. I'm going to use this one next. This is that on patrol card, so I can flip an adjacent card that's face up. I'm going to choose this one next to me, and we found Kickback, one of the Insecticons. Oh no, he's going to, well, we don't have to worry about him right now because he is adjacent to us. So I'm not going to get ambushed by him. If I move in there to try to take him on, I will get ambushed, and that's just the deal. I have to deal with it. Or I could just leave him there. But if I leave him there, I'm not going to gain the victory points and be able to draw a card if I don't defeat him. Now in co-op and solo, you are going to get Energon cubes instead of victory points. So it is good to take these guys on to get some of those Energon cubes, because otherwise the only way I'm getting Energon right now is just by that one card. So I still have 2 movement points plus the 2 from Wheeljack. I don't have enough power. I only have 2 power here for my courage cards to take on Kickback, so I don't think we're going to do that. We're going to use the on patrol movement part of the card to reveal the card that's right underneath Wheeljack here and see what we find. We found Quick Change Maneuver. You may transform. If this is the first card you played this turn, during this turn, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. Well, I don't know if that's a great idea, but all right, I could, but it's still going to give me 1 power and 1 range, so it's still better than nothing. Again, I don't have 3 energy, so that's not going to help me too much, but I still have a lot more movement. So let's go ahead and use this card to also move. Let's move up here. Let's go up 1. And we're going to use this. We're going to use Wheeljack's ability here, since he's got 2 movement, to use 1 more, and we're going to reveal this card. Let's see what we found up here. We found Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher. Oh no, this is bad news. You avoid all ambushes you draw this turn. Okay, this is something. Now I just wanted you to be aware. Notice how they have power, range, and movement as well. And they have powers down here that use Energon and things. I believe they're attempting to, or maybe they're planning to make an expansion where you can have Decepticons out here and they can be moving around the board. And if that's the case, they can pick up their own players from what I understand. Otherwise, all he's going to do is he's going to ambush me because I'm in that square. That's terrible. We're going to draw the card and see what happens. It's ambush. Destroy a random card in your discard pile. Oh no, that's bad. All right. But since it's in a boss, reveal ambush hits all adversaries. Well, since it's not a boss, it's only this normal adversary, I'm going to have to shuffle these up and I have to destroy one of these cards. Hopefully it's not a real good one. I don't want any good cards to be destroyed. They're all courage. Oh, I was so happy. I was afraid that I was going to have to lose Optimus Prime. That would have been bad news city right off the bat. Though, of course, because the movie is super dead. But he does actually come back a couple times in other shows. But that's beyond the point. So we can't deal with him right now. We're going to have to either move away from him and search somewhere else, or I could just stay there and end my turn, and maybe next turn I could try to get to actually take him on. I do have this Fix It card. You may return 1 damage, but that's not going to help. I think we are going to end our turn. Why not? Maybe we can get some damage or cards that will be able to take that guy out, and then we can get rid of him, because I don't want to have to move in there again and get ambushed. That'd be bad news. So we're going to go to our end of turn. There is nothing that I can pick up from this. I didn't pick up any cards, so I have to destroy a card from here. Skywarp, goodbye, destroy you. Good, see ya, that's too bad for you. You're not the boss. It only has to do with boss cards. It's not adversaries. So right down here it says, refill the matrix. If there are no empty spaces, the matrix is refilled. Destroy the top card of the main deck unless it's a boss. So it's not a boss, so we don't have to worry about that. We are going to put our token back over here. We've shuffled up our cards. We're going to draw 5 more and see what we get. Hopefully we get a lot of courage. 2, 3, 4, 5, so that we can take this guy on. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got all our courage cards again. We got all of our power cards again. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right, we're going to, how are we going to do this? I might even have enough to get over here and take this guy out too. Let's see what he can do here. We've got 5 right here. I could do it from range even. Oh, that'd be great. We're going to save these 2. I can't save both. I need to do 5 to take this guy out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We're going to take out 5. These are going to be the cards we're going to play to take this guy out. It costs us 5 to defeat Bone Crusher. So we've defeated Bone Crusher. We're going to gain 2 Energon and destroy 1 starter card you control. That's going to be really good. Since we've played these, I can choose to destroy these. So I'm going to destroy a courage card. We are going to gain 2 Energon that we can use at some point. So for example, I could activate Optimus Prime's energy here. If you control another Autobot, gain a victory point. Well, I don't control another Autobot. I don't know if that technically counts as an Autobot, because that's really a character, but maybe it does. We're going to use Wheeljack to move back down here for one of his movement points, and then for his second, he's going to use 3 energy at a range of 2, which I could have done from up here 1, 2. Now I do want to mention that you can't go diagonally unless you have the keyword flight. You could move diagonally, but you always count everything orthogonally. We're going to move over here. We're still going to move over here is what we're going to do. We're going to use 1 to move there. Then we're going to use Optimus Prime to destroy Kickback. We're going to discard him, and we're going to destroy Kickback here, gain 1 victory point, and draw a card. That, of course, means we get 1 Energon, so we're up to 6. This is awesome. Now, in case you're wondering, why haven't I transformed yet? I could choose to transform by spending an Energon, and that is how you transform back and forth. You can spend Energon to do that. I get to draw a card because I defeated Kickback, and I got my reserves. Well, that's not really going to help me, except I get a movement point. And don't forget, I get a movement point from playing Optimus Prime as well. So I have a total of 1, 2, 3 more movements still. I think we're going to search and see what's underneath this card right here. We have found Jazz. Oh, he was one of my favorite back in the day. Oh, wow. Fun fact, he's about the only guy from the original set of Transformer guys that actually made it through the movie. So he is not super dead. All the other guys are. And let's see here. We'll play that one as a movement. I still have 2 moves left. I think I'm going to stop right there because I really want to get Jazz. Sadly, I know a lot of this is not the power I need to get Jazz because it's all the other cards. That's going to be the end of our turn. We're going to place out our 2 new cards here. Now, one thing you want to do is, remember these cards coming off this deck could potentially have a boss in them. You want to try to move around the board and grab cards that aren't the boss right away because you know the ones out here when they first were played are not boss cards. So that's kind of a trick to this game. Otherwise, of course, you could just be going back and forth, but you probably find the boss super fast before you're able to power up your deck enough to be able to take him on, which would be super bad news. That's the end of our turn. I put our cards out there. I've discarded our cards. We're going to grab 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And at this point, I'm going to shuffle up my discard pile. Hopefully get some, I'm going to get a courage card, I know that, but hopefully we get Optimus Prime. That'd be really good. We're going to give it a truffle shuffle here and see what we get. Come on, we're going to get a good card. I'm going to grab this one. Oh, it's courage. Okay, that's too bad. I don't think I got enough to get him. 1, 2, 3. Nope, didn't get him. Oh, well. We'll come back for you, Jazz. I promise. We're going to start by playing Patrol, and we're going to just use it to look at an adjacent card. Let's look at this one over here. We found Mirage, but he's only 2 to get, which is fantastic. And he has the ability to block. You may teleport 1 space. The way block works is you can play a card to block an attack that comes from the encounter cards or something else that is attacking you. This card allows you to block. You can play it to block, but you don't get anything else on the card. You only get what's inside the block part of the text, which is kind of cool. He's over there, which means we're going to go get him. I'm going to use the Patrol card as one of my movement to move Wheeljack over here. And at this point, we're going to pay 2 energy from our Courage cards to gain Wheeljack. Or sorry, Mirage. We're going to put Mirage in here. He was kind of cool. I like Mirage. He's kind of neat. He teleported himself all over the place. He's a cool guy. I don't have any reason to fix anything. I could move back or I could move down and check that out. There'd be 2 movement. I could use 1 movement here, 1 movement from him to move down and check out this card. But then I'd be far away from Jazz. And we like Jazz. I like Jazz. I think Jazz is pretty awesome. He allows me to block too. I think we're just going to use 1 movement to move back, and that's going to be the end of our turn again. I'm going to take our cards, and I have 1 Courage card left. We're just going to discard it. That's going to be it. No problem. We're going to take our next card, place it down here. Then we're going to draw 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have to shuffle these up and grab 1 more. We're going to give these a good old truffle shuffle here and see what we have. Sadly, I didn't get to fight Skywarp. That would have been pretty cool. What does Skywarp do for us? Let's check it out. If I were to kill him, I would have gained a victory point, and I could teleport a space. That's kind of nice. I've also got myself a Courage and a bunch of other cool cards, including Optimus Prime, which is going to be a ton of stuff to be able to pick out and get Jazz this time, which is going to be great. I really like Jazz. Jazz is one of my favorites. I've already said that. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, of course, one thing I failed miserably on is when I was fighting Kickback and I fought Bone Crusher, I'm in my vehicle form. I'm not allowed, I have to get -1 power when doing that. So I didn't have enough to kill them both. I'm actually going to use that, I'm going to spend 1 of my Energon to a set I've transformed because I haven't actually used too much more movement other than what I would have normally had if I transformed. So we're going to transform and put them on the board. I'm going to be losing -1 power when I fight them, so I wouldn't have had enough to take out both those characters, which is why I had to have been transformed to do it. So we're just going to go ahead and transform this guy, put him back on the board, and that would have been enough to be able to kill Kickback and Bone Crusher, and still had enough movement to keep on walking around. So we have Wheeljack back out on the board. He's all set to go. His tower's a little bit higher and taller than I thought he would in the camera, but that's okay. He's good to go. At this point now we're going to get Jazz. Or not Jazz. Or yeah, it is Jazz. I'm going to grab Jazz. We're going to play 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 power in order to get Jazz. So we're going to play our 4 power from these cards right here. 2 from Courage and 1 from Firepower. And we're going to get Jazz. Now I could use, even from range, you could gain Jazz and stuff. As long as you're using the power, it's all that matters. And since it takes power to get Jazz, we could have done it from a range. We had enough range power to do it. We don't, but that's okay. We'll place Wheeljack back down there. And at this point, I can't move with Wheeljack because I have him transformed in that pose. But I can move with Optimus Prime and this reserve. I'm going to play reserve only to have a movement point, and we're going to move over here. Then at this point, I'm going to play Optimus Prime, who's giving me 3 energy and 2 range. Plus, he's allowing me to gain 1 speed movement, and you may put 1 Autobot from your discard pile on top of your deck. But we don't really have a discard pile yet. Just because we played our cards out, and Jazz is in my discard pile because I just got him. So we're going to put him on top of my deck. These cards, though, were all played this turn. So they're just laying out there played. They can't be put in a discard pile yet. So we've used his movement to check out this card. Let's see what we found. We found Heroic Effort. It's going to cost us 4. I only have 3 from Optimus Prime, which is too bad. But it gives me 2 and 1, and it's a maneuver. Plus 1 power for each adversary boss in play. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to want that. And for 3 Energon, I can get plus 2 power for each adversary boss in play. Man, that's amazing. We'll put that in the discard pile. Optimus Prime is done. I'm not going to be able to use this to... Oh, I don't get it. What am I doing? I'm trying to cheat. I don't get him. I have to get the 4 power first in order to get that. But that's the end of that turn. We will put our next card right back there into the matrix. Grab 5 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And see what we get. I have Courage, bunch of awesome guys. All right, we've got enough power to do this. I probably want to get that card. That seems like a pretty good card. I have a total of 3, 4, 5 movement. Wow, that's an amazing amount of movement. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to use Patrol first, and we're going to check out the card that's adjacent to him over here and see what it is. What's this? It's a Decepticon scheme. Each player's alt mode has 0 move. To thwart this, I have to buy, gain, or defeat 2 cards in the matrix in a single turn. Oh boy. All right. Well, I do have 1 movement, so I'm going to use that to move. We're going to move down here with that. At this point, I'm going to play Jazz to use this movement point. I'm to search this card. Now I do still get this 2 energy as well if I want it. And we have found Energy Swords. It's a technology. Block. You may pay 2 Energon to keep this card in your hand after blocking. Oh, that's really good because I could block and be able to use it for its 2 as if I get the chance. Now I need 8 to get both of these plus a movement point. And I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from Jazz. So I still don't have enough to be able to get rid of this Decepticon scheme. Oh, yuck. All right, maybe I can use some more movement here to kind of move around and find some stuff that I might be able to use in order to get this. Okay, I think we're going to use this. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll use Mirage right now to gain these 3 speed. Now, remember, I still have the energy out on the board, so I still have 3 energy if I need it. But I'm going to move over here for 1, 2 to look at the card. We found Scavenger. Oh, I might have to defeat him instead. But he is going to ambush us because we're right there. And he's going to ambush us, and it says, this adversary cannot be battled this turn. Well, okay, well, that's that's not going to help us. I have 1 more movement point left. I think I will move back here. That'll be what I do. I do have 2, 3, 4, 5 that I could use. I think I'm going to grab these energy swords just because they're there. That way I have the energy swords, and that's all our cards. We've played everything there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was enough to get this energy sword. I'm going to discard all those cards. I'm going to refill up the matrix, and that's going to be the end of Wheeljack's turn. I'm going to give my deck a good old truffle shuffle here, and we're going to see if we can get some really cool cards. We get to grab 5 cards out of this deck. So let's shuffle them up and get some 5 good ones here. Let's drop my cards over the place. All right, here we go. Shuffle them up. get some 5 good ones. I need 5 good ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need like all the Autobots. Come on, transform, roll out. Now, one thing I've been forgetting is I could be buying these for 2, and I think I should have. There could have been a couple times I'll do that. I have to remember to do that. There's so many things kind of going on in this game that there's little parts I kind of forget every once in a while. And these are the ones I most of the time forget, is the fact that I can just buy a transform and roll out card, which is pretty good. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one of them is at a range of 2, which means I could play 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, that's not enough. Oh, well, I'm going to use this card. I don't have any damage yet, so I'm going to use that card to use it as a move to see what's underneath here. Hopefully it's not the boss. That'd be bad news. We found a military airstrike. This is an ally. Start of turn, you may destroy 1 card in your hand. That's awesome. I'm going to put that right here. I only need 6 now to get both of those, and I might be able to do it. Let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have enough to do it. Let's see how we're going to do this, though. Okay, we're going to go like this. I'm going to play these 3. Oh, I can't. This one only has 2. All right, well, that's the deal. We're going to play 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to play these 3. Here we go. Boom. Those 3 are going to play to get our energy. To get military strike, I'll put that in my discard pile. Then I'm going to have to move. So I'm going to have to use this card to move because I have it here with Jazz. So he's going to move over here. Now I'm going to get ambushed when I move back into that square, which is terrible. Lose 1 victory point, which isn't a victory point, that's an Energon cube. So I'm going to lose an Energon cube. Now I know I haven't been doing too many of my Energon attack movement things yet, but those are used more near kind of the end or when you're fighting some bigger guys. I have 3 here. 3 energy is going to be enough to take out Scavenger. He only has a 3. And we're going to gain a victory point and an Energon. Oh, so we got our Energon back. So I'm going to put this in the discard pile, or not discard pile, in the destroyed pile, gain an Energon, and I get to also gain another Energon because of our victory points. We're back up to 6, and we've appeased this. Thwart. Buy, gain, or defeat 2 cards in the matrix in a single turn. So I'm going to gain 2 victory points at the end. So I'll put that aside so that we know we get 2 Energon at the end, which is, it's basically during the co-op games, it's really just there to try to get rid of those so they're not ruining your guy, because he was out there and it's bad news. That's the end of him. He's done again. We're going to put out some more cards. Look, I get to put 3 of them out this time. This is pretty. Now, I know that means the boss is coming up pretty soon. He's got to be in there somewhere. These cards down here, though, I haven't seen yet, so I might want to travel this way and see if I can find some cool cards. I'm going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully, I can grab some good cards. I also haven't had to transform back into my alt form yet because I've been actually gaining enough of these movement. Look, there's a ton more movement here. Oh, Mirage is amazing, by the way. Look at those. 3 movement is out of control. I'm going to use Patrol to look at the bottom card down here. I'm going to use that card first and see what we found. We have found Shrapnel. Wow, there's all these Insecticons and Constructicons everywhere. That's 4 power. Now, I have the ability to do that. I have 4 power here that's at least 1 range. Now, I could not play this. I couldn't play 4 power like this and use the 2 range because you have to appease the amount of range by the amount of power you have. So since I didn't have enough, I've got 3 here that do have enough range. So those 3, oh, I need 4. Oh, I have 4, sorry. I can't even count. 3 plus 1 is 4. We have 4 to take on Shrapnel. We were able to defeat him from a distance, so I'm able to, down here. Gain 2 victory points. So again, I'm not gaining victory points, I'm gaining Energon. So we have a ton of energy. We have actually a lot more than I normally have. We have 8 Energon. That's amazing. I've played these guys for their energy. I have not used their movement yet. And I still have these 2 cards in my hand. So again, I think I'm going to use, I have 4 movement from them. I'm going to use 1, 2 to move over here. And I'm going to reveal this card and see what it is. It is a galactic positioning system. It's a technology, finally. These are what I want for him. So it's sitting right here, but I don't have enough energy to get it. Oh, man. Oh, that's so sad. I think I'm going to end my turn there because I do want to get that. So I'm going to discard my cards. We're going to refill up the matrix just like that. And we're going to draw our 5 cards. We get 2 from what we haven't had yet that are still in our draw pile. We're going to shuffle up our discard pile and draw 3 more. Let's see if we can find them. All right, I think I also played Optimus Prime and forgot to put Jazz on top of the deck because he's got a cool power and I totally forgot to use it. We'll go over here, and again, I think I forgot to grab a Transformer rollout card, but that's okay. We're going to grab a couple more here. We're going to move to, or actually we're going to grab this technology first. Let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total, and I need 3. So we're going to use these 3 right here. That's what we're going to do, a Courage and Firepower. That's going to give us enough to grab this galactic positioning system. When I play it, I get to draw 1 card for each adversary boss in the matrix. There aren't any right now because I've Well, I've been eliminating them. And I don't have any ability to move yet, so I'm going to use Jazz to move my character over here. That's going to be all he can do with his 2 energy. And I have 1 here I'm going to use. I don't get the Energon because I have more than 3, but I'm going to use it to check out what's underneath here. Without Scrapper, I'm finding all these bad guys. Oh my gosh. All right, Scrapper's going to do something. Lose 2 Energon. Nah, it's terrible. All right, we're going to lose 2 Energon. That's fine. I can lose that. Not the end of the world. I still have 1, 2 from Jazz and 1 from our Courage card, but Scrapper is 3. So since I don't have enough to actually take him out, I'm going to stop right now. And this time I am going to remember to buy my Transform and Roll Out card because those are kind of cool. Allows me to transform back and forth without having to use Energon. We're going to fill up our matrix by putting a card back into the game there. And I'm going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were able to get, hopefully enough to kill this guy. Oh boy, just enough. That's fine. First we have this one. You may destroy 1 card in your hand. Okay, in my hand? Oh, I don't know if I want to destroy a card in my hand. Oh boy, I don't want to destroy a card in my hand. Okay, we're gonna play Optimus Prime. He's going to give me 3 at a range of 2, and he lets me move 1. And I'm not going to forget this. You may add put 1 auto block from your discard pile on top of your deck. We certainly are. I am going to put Jazz on top of my deck because he's the only one in my discard pile. And we're going to play him, and we're going to gain 3 energy and 2 attack. Now, at this point, I think I am going to start deleting some of these cards. I'm going to, Optimus Prime is fine. He's got 3. This Courage card is the only one I've got that's going to give me the 4th. I'm going to have to play the Courage card. I have to do that in order to get rid of Scrapper, which is what we're going to do here. I'm going to get a victory points and destroy a starter card you control. That's fantastic. Now I'm going to destroy this Courage card. I'm going to destroy that card right there. Then I'm going to, I also get a Energon Cube because I get 1 victory point from him. I'm then going to play my Airstrike. This will be okay. I'm going to play that, and I'm going to destroy my Fix card. I don't know if that's a great idea. Destroy that card, that's totally fine. I'm going to play Patrol and use it to look at this card right here. Oh my gosh, it's Rumble. Rumble, and what's the other guy? Frenzy? Was that the other guy? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I love how they have all the different guys I remember from my past. I'm not moving over there, that's for sure. I'm going to call it a day. I'm not going to do anything else. That's going to be the end of Wheeljack's turn. I'm going to fill up this row with that card right there. And we're going to draw 5 more cards. I got 4 here. So we're going to take our discard pile, give it a good old truffle shuffle here, and see what we can find. Hopefully enough to take on Rumble from a distance. That's my plan. So now we got 5 cards, and hopefully they're pretty good. 2, 3, 4, 5. We got Mirage, Courage. Okay, maybe I got. Oh, I think I got enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. How much is he? Oh, he's only 2. He's only 2. I can take him out with a galactic positioning system. Draw 1 card for each adversary or boss in the Matrix. Well, I'm going to destroy the guy, so he's not going to be in the Matrix, which is kind of funny. I'm going to play that card, so it means I have to resolve the text first. So I do get to draw a card, since there is each adversary boss. Well, it's not an adversary boss. I apologize. He's just an adversary. So we're not going to get the card, but I do get the 2 that I need to take him out, and I'm going to gain 1 Energon, which is totally fine. Normally you find a lot of cool things in here, not a bunch of bad guys. All I've been finding is bad guys. We're also, I knocked over poor old Wheeljack here. I do still have some movement here. I've got 3 movement here. I'm going to play this card to give myself 3 movement. I'm going to move 1, 2, and I'm going to look at this card here. It is a cooperative scheme. The range value of all your cards are 0. Contribute 4 cards of different cost. Oh my gosh. All right, well, that's not going to happen this turn. So all these cards that have a range value, oh, that's fantastic. All right, well, I got to get rid of that card somehow. That was 1, 2, 3 to reveal that card. I still have the 1 up here. I'm going to play him for 1 more to move back up to the maneuver. That means I'm going to use these 3 to grab this maneuver card because it costs a total of 3 up here, which is just fine. Put that in my discard pile. And I have 3 left that I can't move unless I want to transform. I could pay to transform and move over here and see what it is, but I think I'm just going to discard those and grab a transform and roll out card. That'll be it. Oh boy, they're all range 0. That's horrible. We're going to put these cards into the matrix here. And now, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure I've checked every one of these cards at least once, so any one of these now could be one of the bosses, which could really, really be interesting. I'm going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards and see what we have found. We found Prime. We found another one that can destroy a card. That's great. I'm going to play my Patrol card first. because I love, this is one of my favorite cards in the game. I know it's a starter card, but oh my gosh, being able to check something from a distance is amazing. We're going to check this card right here and see what we found. Teletran 1, we found Teletran 1. Peek at one face down matrix card in the matrix. That's awesome. It costs 4 and it does 2 power. That's amazing. I'm going to get that card right now. Let's see how I can do this. I'm going to play my military airstrike. That's what we're going to do. We're going to play military airstrike and we're going to destroy this card. I don't want that courage card anymore. I get 1 movement from my patrol card that I played, and I can, this costs 4. I have a total of 5 right here. So I'm going to grab that card, and I actually could have grabbed it from 1 square away now that I think about it, because if we look at our point costs here and our range values, our characters, the cards I played allow me to grab cards from farther away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at a range of 1 and 2, so we're totally fine. I'm going to grab that Teletran 1 from a distance. I'm going to use that 1 movement from Optimus Prime to check out this card. Let's see what we found. More energy swords. All right, we'll grab those energy swords in a second here. I don't have any more to be able to grab them, but that's okay. And since I played Optimus Prime, I can take an Autobot and place him on top of the deck. So I'm going to place Jazz on top of my deck. That's my plan. And now I'm going to draw 5 cards. Oh, I got to fill the matrix up. Put another card in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to shuffle up my cards here. Notice I've been able, one thing I like about this game is it does actually allow you to cycle out your cards. You can actually destroy cards out of this deck. Otherwise it'd be really rough gaining all these cards and still having those starters in there. It'd be really tough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 5? That's 5. All right. Another courage card. One of these. Okay, we got some movement and we have some, I could transform for free if I wanted to. But let's get this technology first. There's an energy sword there. Let's get it with this courage card, this transform rollout card, and this firepower card. Now that means since I'm going to play the transform rollout card, I have to choose right now if I want to transform. I'm going to keep it just as is. I'm going to take my 4, get my energy swords, put them in my discard pile, totally fine with that. And then I'm going to be able to use one of the moves from my transform and rollout card. So we are going to move, I think we're going to move back up. That's what we're going to do. Then I'm going to use my reserve card here. And we're going to check out what's behind this card. Let's see what it is. Something good, I hope. Let's see what we found. We found the Galactic Positioning System. Okay, I think there's about 3 or 4 of each kind of cards, which is why you're seeing doubles of some of these cards. And that's going to be all I can do with him. He does have 2 power. I'm going to grab another transform and roll out. Why not? Since he's got 2 power and I'm not using it. Oh, I screwed up. Look at this. I forgot about this. I have to contribute 4 cards. The range value on all my cards are 0. I totally forgot about this. I couldn't get Teletran 1 from here, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. I totally forgot about my cooperative scheme. I have to keep that in mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get 5 new cards, and I have to put a card in the matrix. Let's see what we have found. Now remember, all these are like, okay, here we go. I'm just going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Contribute 4 cards of different colors, combinations of costs. That's these. I'm going to contribute those. And when you contribute cards, I don't believe you get anything with the cards. You're just contributing them to get them out of there. But I could be wrong, and if I am, please let me know in the comments below. And check the pinned comments as well for any errors that I'll be posting, any errors that I made in those pinned comments. Let's see this here. I've done that. I've thwarted it. We're done with that scheme. That was ridiculous. I do have this card left. I can move 1, or I can pay the 3 to get my Galactic Positioning System. Why not? I'm going to grab this card with Optimus Prime. And Optimus Prime allows me to put a card from an Autobot from my discard pile on top of the deck. So we're going to take Jazz again and put him on top of the deck. Wow, he's becoming the reoccurring character. He just keeps on coming back. We all love Jazz. That's going to be the end. I'll put out 2 more cards and see what we can find. Now, the other thing is the more you walk around the board, the chances you might actually find the second boss sometimes before you even find the first boss, which could even be worse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the bosses do get harder as you play, of course. Oh, look at that hand. That's what I'm talking about. Finally, a good hand that's really awesome. All cards that I bought. Such a good hand. Let's find something awesome I can do with this. All right, let's move 1 with Jazz here over to this card right there. Then I'm going to use Mirage to move 3. I'm going to use my first movement to check out this card right here and see what we found. We found Astro Train, our first boss. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Reveal, attack, draw, and resolve 2 ambushes. So I have to reveal, since I revealed, I have to draw 2 ambushes cards. The first one is gain 1 damage. All right. Now I could choose to block that if I want, and I am. I'm going to block that with this card right here. Block. Haha, no damage. We're going to put that card over here. Next, destroy the top card of your deck. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. I don't want to destroy the top card of my deck. Well, hopefully it's not a good card. Let's see what it is. Oh, I lost a maneuver of some kind. That's too bad. All right, we've revealed both of our, what do you call them? Oh, we call them ambush cards. So the ambush cards are revealed, and then we have a Decepticon Astro Train here. He does have an ongoing ability here that says, when you are ambushed by a non-boss adversary, gain 1 damage before drawing an encounter. So I do need to take this guy out before I find other guys, because that would be bad news. Now, he only needs 6 to take him out, which isn't too bad. And I might actually, okay, I use this card to block. So I don't, unless I want to pay 1 Energon to get it back, which I probably will, I'm going to pay 1 Energon to be able to use the 2 power on it, which is going to be good. And it only works on assist or confront, and we are going to be doing a confront in order to take him on. When you confront, you're going to be done with your turn. You're going to be stop playing cards. So before we do that, there's a couple things I need to do. One is this is actually right here. When I blocked, I had to pay 2 Energon to keep this card in your hand after blocking. That's what I wanted to do. So we're going to pay the 2 to keep this in my hand. Now at this point, now that he's done his ambushes, which is one of the ones I blocked, I'm going to choose to confront him, but I've only played these 2 cards. So I'm going to play the rest of my cards. Now I'm going to choose to confront him. Now if I wanted to, I have to choose to do some of the draw 1 card for each adversary boss on the board. In the Matrix, I'm going to do that. I'm going to shuffle these cards up. We're going to take Astro Train down. There's going to be something else. I'm going to draw this card right here. We found Teletran 1. Awesome. I'll play that one as well. I can peek at 1 face down card in the Matrix. Let's look at this one. Let's see what it is. We have found Laserbeak. Laserbeak's going to stay up there. I don't want to deal with Laserbeak. I don't want to deal with Ravage either. So we have all our cards played. These are them. Then we're going to confront him. At this point, we have to take all the encounter cards, including the ones that we've already seen from the ambushes, and give this deck a good old truffle shuffle. He's going to then do, I'm going to confront him, and he is going to do his bottom part of this, which is a boss confrontation card. So we'll draw this up and see what we found. We got attack, destroy 1 card with the cost of 3 plus you control. If you control none, gain 2 damage instead. So I have to destroy a card of 3 or more. I'm going to destroy this galactic positioning system. That's totally fine. That's his attack. He's attacked me. Now at this point, other people could assist me if they wanted to try to take this guy down, but I have enough to be able to do it myself. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it takes only 6 to take down Astro Train, so we were able to defeat him. I gained 3 victory points. So I'm going to grab 3 Energon and place it into my pool here. I've got a massive amount of Energon, and we have defeated him. We'll put these cards aside. Now, when you confront something, that is the end of your turn. Even if you had more movement or more energy or more of anything, you're done. You can't do anything else once the confrontation is concluded. We'll fill back up the Matrix, draw up to 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we will continue on. But at this point, I think you've seen kind of how this game is played. You're moving around, buying cards, defeating adversaries, and then eventually defeating some of these bigger bosses, which are really cool. I'm going to show you a couple of the other ones just to show you a little bit more of what's in here, because we're not going to get to our level 2 or 3 boss. But for example, this guy revealed this card 1 ally you control, then resolve an ambush. Ongoing, you pay 2 more power to defeat other Decepticons. So if you weren't able to take this guy on yet, and you were fighting other ones, that would be bad news. Then for example, Devastator coming out here, reveal and start of turn, place all Constructicons in the Matrix and destroyed pile under this card. This boss has +1 for each card under it. Start of turn, gain 1 damage. If you are on or adjacent to the space, gain 2 damage instead. 5 victory points and destroy all Constructicons. This guy's awesome. Huge fan of Devastator. So do know that some of these bosses coming out are going to be harder as you see them. Of course, we don't know where the other 2 are, but there aren't very many cards left in here, so I assure you those other 2 are probably out on this board somewhere. So there's a lot of strategy in this game in deciding where you want to go to hopefully not be fighting these bosses until your deck is pretty powerful. I got my deck super powerful before I found that first boss. I mean, there's an astronomical amount of cards in here, and not too many of the starter cards are left. I mean, we did a really good job of getting those out of there and being able to get only some really good cards in here, which is why Astro Train really didn't stand a chance against us. And like I said, being able to play cooperative and competitive in this is a really neat system, not to mention you can also play this solo. So there you have it. That is Transformers, the deck building game from Renegade Games. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. There's a lot of cool things going on, not to mention the nostalgia factor, being able to bring up my Transformers again and putting them out on the board, which is pretty awesome. And seeing the art from the old cartoons I used to watch and love when I was younger. It really brings back a lot of neat memories. And it's so neat because I had so many of these. I had Astro Train. He was one of my favorite Transformers along with the Decepticon or the Constructicons. I think I had the Insecticon. Which one did I have? I had this guy. I had this one. I had Kickback when I was younger. And actually, I only had, I think, 2 of the Constructicons. And I had 2 other friends that had a couple of the Constructicons too. So it took us all to be at the same place or to have Devastator and be able to play with them. It's pretty awesome. So that's my nostalgia of the game. The game is done. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I hope this gave you an idea of what Transformers the deck building game is like. I do enjoy the fact that you're moving around this board instead of just buying things from River and creating a deck. It gives you a little bit of strategy as to how you're doing it. I think that's kind of cool. Of course, with the other characters are neat, and you being able to transform back and forth is really cool. We didn't have to do a lot of transforming because I was able to luckily get enough movement and stuff inside my cards to do that. I did make a few errors, and I apologize for that. Of course, I did catch them. If there is anything else, please leave it in the comments below. Also, anything else I would love to hear from you as always. I'm excited to hear what you have to think about this game. Again, thank you so much for watching, and if you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet me at the co-op shop.